My next Patreon question is from Graham, who wants to know what's going to happen with the next Oscars. Since theaters have been closed for a large portion of the year, do you think the Academy Awards are in trouble for having to spread the nominations too thin? Do you think the awards might be cancelled if the pandemic expands into 2021? This will certainly be an unorthodox year at the Oscars, especially with so many contenders moving to next year, and the period of eligibility being extended 2 extra months. Will they be able to put together a decent list of nominations? I think it's still possible. You have to remember that Academy voters often watch a certain selection of movies, most of which are often released in the last few months of the year. So the number of films being considered for nominations probably will not be all that different. However, with the major studios and indie distributors delaying so many of their films, this does look like a situation that the streamers will take advantage of. Netflix has a number of possible contenders, like David Fincher's Mank, Spike Lee's The Five Bloods, and Aaron Sorkin's The Trial of the Chicago 7. Meanwhile, Amazon has One Night in Miami, directed by Regina King, which has been widely praised by those who saw it at film festivals. And Disney and Pixar could potentially score a Best Picture nomination for Soul, if the early word from the London Film Festival is anything to go by. It would certainly be a big boost for Disney+. Not that theatrical distributors won't be in the mix either. A24 is a possible nominee with Minari, which has gotten rave reviews, including 2 prizes at Sundance. And Fox Searchlight is really pushing Nomadland, starring Frances McDormand. One thing I hope happens is Academy voters are inspired to look back at some films released early in the year before the cinemas closed. I would love to see The Invisible Man recognized, especially for Elizabeth Moss's performance and the sound mixing. There are 2 categories I'm particularly fascinated to see how they will play out. One of them is Best Animated Feature. With many big studio films being delayed to next year, this is somewhere where indie studios and streaming services could end up with more nominations than usual. Soul seems guaranteed for nomination and potentially the win, although Pixar could get double nominations thanks to Onward. There are a few other studio films like Trolls World Tour, and we'll see if Sony decides to release Connected within the eligibility period. However, I think most of the slots will be given to streaming companies. Netflix has 3 possible nominees with Over the Moon, The Willoughbys, and Farmageddon, a Shaun the Sheep movie. Meanwhile, Apple TV Plus and Cartoon Saloon's Wolfwalker seems highly likely to get in, based on early word of mouth from TIFF. And G-Kids always submits a bunch of animated movies, so don't count them out. I was concerned if there will be enough animated films released this year to guarantee 5 slots in the category, but I think there will be the 16 required. The other category I'm curious about is Best Visual Effects. So many of the big tentpoles that would have been possible nominees, like Dune, Eternals, Top Gun Maverick, and No Time to Die, were delayed, and that could lead to a fascinating group. Tenet is probably the most likely to win at this point, but the other slots are going to be rather unpredictable. Mulan has a chance, and Sonic the Hedgehog has a Cinderella narrative attached to it. I actually won't be surprised if Dolittle gets nominated. Anything is definitely possible with the visual effects category this year, and that's what makes it kind of exciting. As for the ceremony itself, the Oscars are currently scheduled for April, and hopefully the world is closer to normalcy at that point. If the Emmys still went ahead, and the Tony Awards is still going to happen, then I would be surprised if the Academy Awards are not held. There may be less big movies being released in 2020, but that does not mean there have not been movies. Anyway, how do you think the next Oscars will play out? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for your question, Graham.